VGK suffered its first regulation loss ever in Ottawa Sunday as the Senators erupted for 7 goals in a 7-1 romp over the Golden Knights. We have our takeaways next on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone, from Las Vegas. Tony Dasco and Chris Gawlik. Welcome to Locked On Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcasting network. I'm a longtime sportscaster, marketing consultant, and the host of the Believe in Vegas podcast. Chris is the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and also the host of the Hockey News Collectibles Show. Now, coming up ahead on today's show as we get this week started, VGK gets routed by the Senators in Ottawa. Our takeaways, of course, we'll have for that game, plus VGK's goaltending is coming into question, and we assess if the Golden Knights are contenders or pretenders. Don't forget to watch us each and every day, SSSEN, the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m., the place to be, SSSEN, YouTube TV, or Cox Cable Channel 77. So, Chris, the Golden Knights' loss in Ottawa was so bad yesterday that when VGK's Rasmus Andersson broke the shutout with a little over 5 minutes remaining in the game, rather than doing his celebratory stare down of the Senators fans, he immediately stared down the goalie, Adin Hill. Sorry, I blew that one. Hill gave up 7 goals in the loss, and how many of those goals were soft ones?
Like 4, maybe. I mean, it's tough because at some point you want that save. Coach Cassidy has coined it. You need that one more save to win a hockey game, and there really weren't any of those saves. And it's not just, I mean, throw out the stats now. We'll hit all that in the second segment. We'll simply just key in on Adin Hill's performance in this game. His movements are just very strange. You looked, I think it was in the first period. Player is all alone coming in on his left or the right side from the camera, and Adin Hill decides to go head first. He's on the ground. Now, he did get his left pad down. He kept his pad down. He made the save, or at least he made it difficult to score, but I'm sure there's other goalie people that can break that down much better than I can. But that was just one time. You're watching the way he's moving around, and it's just very, very bizarre. He's not a great mover to begin with. It's different, than watching the likes of a Marc-Andre Fleury and stuff like that. But he usually plays in control despite his big body. And he's just, when he starts moving around like that, it's slow. It is very, very slow for a goalie who is slow to react to begin with.
7-1 was the final. A multitude of excuse narratives by VGK Media, a.k.a. Golden Knights employees. No time to practice, third game in 4 days. All the bouncing pucks were recovered by Ottawa, and VGK was exhausted from the emotional win in Toronto on Friday. Bruce Cassidy retorted, "I never considered that. It was 2 days ago." Enough of the excuses. My goodness.
I mean, Cassidy threw the excuse out. That's good. I mean, Coach Cassidy didn't want to hear the narrative. I mean, look at the game, right? Mitch Marner gets a breakaway, a breakaway and a penalty shot, and he makes what
was
like
that?
He made his move, but it was a poor attempt. And Coach Cassidy made a point to mention never got a shot on goal on the penalty shot. So that's a start right there. And then this team has a 5-on-3 between the periods, basically, one to the next. And so the chances were there. It's not like the Golden Knights. I mean, yeah, they didn't start the game on time, but the on-time start, or the lack of on-time start, isn't what did the team in. And I will go back with what Cassidy said. Like, I don't think momentum game to game does matter, but the letdown factor, I mean, yes, it's real, but in the same breath, this game was there for the taking. And I think Mark Stone did have the best perspective. They're playing what he coined a proud Senators team who just got blown out the night before, who are trying to leapfrog multiple teams to get back in the playoff position. There's 30-something odd games left, again, to quote what Mark Stone said. So Mark Stone, I feel like as the captain, he knew what the team was up against. did Mark Stone, the captain, maybe convey that anywhere? I don't know how these conversations happen. This is simply an internal thing. And this is where Coach Cassidy in the postgame presser also alluded to you have to prepare as the individual for games like this.
Stoney, who had his point streak ended, it was halted at 14 games in a row, said that he looked like an NHL team versus a juniors team and added, that's not who we are. And then Jackie Pocket's 11-game point scoring streak, that went up in smoke as well. And that ends, and he said the VGK effort was not good enough at all. I felt as though post-game, those two players were pointing fingers. Tell me you're pointing fingers without telling me that you're pointing fingers. Like, that's what it basically was. They were upset at someone or something or some part, some facet of the game that or someone wasn't playing well or what they weren't given enough effort. That's my takeaway.
This is where we need Braden McNabb to say 3 times when I ask him a question about the team's, just the chemistry and locker room and things like that. You need Braden McNabb out there saying, we're not going to turn on each other. We're not going to turn on each other. We're not going to turn on each other.
I mean, quotes ever.
Listen, there's concerns right now. And leading up to the third segment, are we talking about a Stanley Cup contending team, or are we talking about a team that's going to flail away in the playoffs? Spoiler alert, it's probably the latter at this point, but there's obviously time can change that. And you look at this up and down team, right? I mean, you start with the game against the Bruins, terrible start, not an on-time start by any means. Find their game, get better throughout the game, and unfortunately they fall short. And then now you look at what happens against the Leafs. And by the way, Leafs aren't a very good team. They were playing okay hockey for a little bit. So, now you start to piece the situation together, piece the puzzle together, I guess. Golden Knights are doing fine against not good teams and not doing well against decent teams. Sens, I think, are closer to the not as good team, but they're okay. And now you got a Canadiens team on Tuesday night who's not too bad coming up, and the Golden Knights are staring down the barrel of a 2-point road trip.
Stephen Halliday had 2 goals and an assist in the game. Dylan Cousins had 2 goals, 3 goals in the second period. And that's when I texted you, Chris, about trying to get stats for the Sens offensive zone time in that period. They were absolutely camped out. I could not believe how much they held on to the puck, and the Golden Knights are just standing around. I wouldn't put that in the excuse narrative. I would just say that they were the Vegas Golden Passengers return. That's what I thought. 3 in the second, 3 goals in the third. You have to break that. You have to do something because the goals are just pouring out. It gets to be so old, though, with when the Golden Knights lose, it's everyone else's fault. And the VGK radio guy yesterday got under my skin, just really got under my skin. So it's early on in the game. VGK radio guy says Mads Søgaard is not an NHL goalie. And that got me so fired up.
All right, let's be clear. Are you talking Duva or are you talking Lawless?
Come on. Who do you think?
Because Duva's usually pretty fair. That's why I was asking you. Just to clarify.
Well, of course, it was the latter there. It was the latter. Any player that touches the ice in the NHL, and it's just like they get so full of themselves here trying to promote the team or whatever the heck they're doing. But how could you say that about a guy? And then I was begging for the shutout, begging for it later on. Sorry.
I mean, when you get paid by a company, you do what the company tells you to do.
Yeah, I don't know about that. No, it goes overboard. It goes way past
but different.
that line.
Okay, different sports teams have different rules, though, Tony. All right, different teams have different rules. There's one thing we know about this Golden Knights team.
We never know who's creating a turnover, who turned the puck over, all that stuff. It's just, it gets to be too much. But to call a goaltender who's starting his first game of the season, not an NHL goalie, like you're going to just score 7 on him in that game. No, I'm sorry. That's just wrong.
Søgaard's been kicking around the American League since 2020, 31 NHL games played. Goals against is 3.6 and an 8.77 save percentage. So, I mean, I get the comment, so to speak, but then that makes the team look even worse when they can't beat this AHL, whatever. Had somewhere I was going to go with this. I mean, again, just looking at the goal. No one asked Coach Cassidy, why do you leave Adin Hill out there for all 7?
which I
Why
thought
not
was
pull
great.
him? And I would be really curious what the perspective was.
I thought it was awesome.
I think
thought
you're
it
just
was
letting Hill
awesome.
work through it is what it comes down
I
to.
think no, you're just making him wallow in the pain there.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Hang.
Hill, figure your game out.
We are talking about goaltending right now, and coming up next, the topic will be VGK goaltending becoming a concern, more of a concern, ranked in the bottom, near the bottom in the NHL. More ahead on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Let's be real. Managing your finances can feel overwhelming between subscriptions you forgot about, bills that keep going up, and trying to figure out where all your money actually goes each month. It's a way in which you don't feel very much in control of your money. And who has time to track every single transaction or hunt down hidden fees? Not us on this show. That's where Rocket Money comes in, the personal financial application that helps you to take control. It finds and cancels all of your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and helps to lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I was shocked when Rocket Money showed me that I was paying for a high school sports app that I completely forgot about to watch some sports, and it already saved me a lot of money. I love how it tracks all the subscriptions that you have. It lets you cancel them right in the app in just a few taps, and no more hunting down customer service numbers. So let's let Rocket Money help us all. You can reach your financial goals faster. Join rocketmoney.com/lockdown. That's rocketmoney.com/lockdown. rocketmoney.com/lockdown. Welcome back from the sports and entertainment capital of the world to Locked On Golden Knights. Gawlik, I lost you there. You were out of frame. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Please make sure that you check out our YouTube channel, which is on fire. Please subscribe there. No, so the narrative is that I think it's not the players that are juiced up after a big win, in Toronto. It's the announcers, for this team on the broadcast. They're the ones that need to settle down. There was a letdown for them, I think, in that game.
Guilty game for the announcers?
It was a guilty game. It was a guilty game maybe for Bruce. He was back at home. So I texted you and sent you a couple of posts, one from Money Puck at 7:08 a.m. What in the world are you doing? Get a life, Cardasco. Then another from Hockey Stats. That was at 10:58 a.m. I am very precise because I watch a lot of true crime shows, Chris. But these posts were about goaltending. And when you dig in, you can just see how bad the metrics are for the Vegas Golden Knights goaltending and how special teams and scoring goals kind of masks the poor goaltending. So the first goalie to appear in the top, 100 list, whatever it is, Akira Schmid in the rankings on Money Puck. Sorry, I didn't see Adin Hill. I didn't see Carter Hart. And then he was in the 30 percentile. And then overall, Hockey Stats has VGK goaltending ranked 30th. Schmidt's got 15 wins. Hart next with 5. The overall average of goals against, it's 2.98. Overall save percentage, not good. And even that you can tell me this all the time. Save percentage of 883 is not going to get it done. And all of these goaltenders, Akira, Hill, Hart, and even Lindbaum, are all under the 900 mark in save percentage. This isn't Stanley Cup caliber goaltending. I'm sorry.
Goals saved.
I thought you were going to just go, yeah.
No. Goals saved above expected per 60 minutes. What does that mean? It's a hockey analytics stat measuring how many more or fewer goals a goalie stopped than an average goalie would have, considering the quality/danger of shots faced, giving a fairer performance evaluation than just goals against. So where do the 4 Golden Knights goalies rank? I slid the bar for a minimum of 8 games played, which includes Carl Lindbaum in that. So coming in, of the 72 goalies that have played 8 or greater NHL games, where do the VGK goalies rank? Akira Schmidt is the highest at 33, but not even in the top 32. He is at 33, and he's the best. Carl Lindbaum, 64th. Carter Hartz, 68th. Remember, there were 72 total goalies on this list. Adin Hill comes in at 72. So, yes, to back up everything Tony said about the goaltending, it's porous right now. It's bad. It stinks. It's not good. We have talked about the goaltending as a product of the team in front of them. And the team in front defensively has not been good as well. Let's make sure we are being fair about this. However, you do look at when McNabb was healthy, how well Theodore and McNabb were clicking as far as being the best defensive pairing at goals against per 60 minutes for a long period of time early on in the season. So, yeah, is Braden McNabb out the reason why the goaltending sucks? No, of course not. But that certainly is a part of it. It's part of the big blender here, so to speak. But at the end of the day, this is not going to get this team anywhere near where they budgeted for a playoff run.
Adin Hill, 9 games played, 3.53 goals against. And I think he's past the point of going, okay, the guy needs some reps. He needs to get back into the flow, whatever.
He got
He's
paid,
been
Tony.
back
He
for
got
what?
lazy.
3 or 4 games? How many games has he been back since the injury?
I think he played 4 and got hurt, if I'm not mistaken. So played 5 since he came back. I believe it's 4 or 5.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not another, let's have another excuse narrative about him. No need to cover up the flaws of this team. There are many, but one of the things that we see on a nightly basis is, will this tandem or whatever you're going to call all of these goaltenders in the rotation, are they good enough to win the Stanley Cup? Can VGK outscore opponents on a nightly basis? And then you look some of the time, these 12 overtime losses that they come back on the goaltender sometimes because you just need that next save. If you only lost 6 of those 12, you're starting to pull away there in the Pacific Division.
That .881 save percentage you alluded to for the Golden Knights as a team ranks 31st out of 32 NHL teams, only, oddly enough, ahead of the Ottawa Senators, who apparently played an American League goalie that doesn't deserve to be in the NHL.
Why was I so mad about
one
that
goal.
line? It was just like, yeah, we're just going to come in here and beat the snot out of these guys. No, it's just like broadcast the stinking game.
I don't know what the betting line was.
Will there be a letdown? I mean, go ahead.
No, I said I don't know what the betting line was. I'll bet it was probably like minus 150, 160 on the Golden Knights side.
Yeah, it was around 150.
So that's number one. And I mean, it's just like, where do you go here? And I'll say it again. The Golden Knights goaltending has always been a product of what's in front of them. And that goes both ways too. I mean, I've been very critical that any of the 17 goalies that the Golden Knights had on the 22-23 roster would have won the Stanley Cup in that playoff run. Well, is the product in front of them as good right now? I don't know. I mean, it's definitely not as good. I mean, Rasmus Anderson's just getting his feet wet with the team, learning the system and everything. Hannafin, we'll see if he's a beneficiary or not of this. And Shea Theodore is trying to, carry Lausanne with them, and that's not working right. So how this all goes to the goaltending, I'm sure it definitely matters. But at the same token, you're paying Adin Hill as a 1A goaltender. You need him to be out there stealing games. And this is where I wonder if he's on the same scenario as William Karlsson, where there is an underlying injury and he's either favoring, trying not to re-injure, or whatever it may be. Or simple question, is Adin Hill lazy because he got paid?
He was
it begs to be asked.
Right. Great question there. And to me, when you look at Adin Hill, everyone's like, why are you dogging him? Why are you saying he's not a good goaltender? Okay, he had flashes of brilliance. He was
great for 4 weeks. Well. He was great for 4 weeks, and he was okay last season.
And he played well, this in his last starts here. Okay, fine. Prior to that game, but to say that he's a great goaltender, and that poses the question for me:
is he a good goaltender? Forget great, Tony.
At the trade deadline, does VGK need to address goaltending? And I looked at the list.
They got 4 goalies, 3 goalies. No,
well, send like 2 or 3 of them to the scrap pile.
You made your bed, now you got to sleep on it.
right, Akira. Like he's number one. He's got far
Give
more.
Schmidt the reps. Give him the reps.
Absolutely. He's shown at least some desire to be there.
Bingo.
Coming up next, are the Golden Knights contenders or pretenders after 52 games or close to 65% of the season that has gone by? We'll talk about it next right here on Lockdown Golden Knights. If you've ever had to hire someone who looked good on paper but wasn't the right fit, you know how important that is. When you want candidates that truly match what you're looking for, trust Indeed sponsored jobs. That's right. Hiring Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post out there and seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs put your post at the very top of the page, helps you to reach the right candidates faster. If I needed to hire someone immediately, I'd go straight to Indeed and be very specific about all the needs, real experience, not just resume buzzwords. Sponsored jobs boost your post each and every time that you put them up there. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check your boxes with less stress, less time, more results using Indeed sponsored jobs. So just go to Indeed.com/lockdown right now and support the show by saying that you heard about Indeed on the Lockdown Golden Knights podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. Thanks for tuning in today to Lockdown Golden Knights. Make sure that you subscribe and follow us so that you get all of the latest episodes. If you haven't already, please check out the new Everydayers Club. Access to ad-free audio, of course, the invitation to members-only Discord and members-only Lockdown merch store. Check it out today, lockdownpodcast.com/everydayer. So, Chris, through 51 games, our conversation on whether the Golden Knights are contenders or pretenders. And this is a tough one, because for me, they're contenders.
Why is it tough?
They're contenders on the cusp, right? Because they are
Why?
one of the top 10 teams in the NHL right now.
Okay.
But can the Golden Knights, in looking at standings and numbers and all that, can the Golden Knights beat the bigger opponents who have really good records? So, for instance, Central Division, they're going to have to face, if everything goes according to form, they'll have to face a Central Division team at some point. Just 6-5-2 against that division. And then I'm looking at teams in the Central. Man, they're so strong against the Pacific. Minnesota 11-3-4 against the Pacific, piling up wins. Colorado and Dallas have 10 wins apiece. And then the bigger question is, with teams like now, here come the Ducks again. They've won 7 straight. Can the Golden Knights hang on first and foremost to the top spot in the Pacific? I don't believe they can without at least one or two moves here at the trade deadline. What are your thoughts?
I think the team is capped out, no pun intended. I know there's no salary cap in Vegas, but it's going to be extremely creative for Kelly McCrimmon to address the lack of center depth, number one. And the goaltenders, you can't do anything.
Riley Smith was playing center again yesterday, folks.
That's the thing. I mean, the center depth is in major question right now. Brett Howden likely will return after, the Olympics, hopefully not too far. And William Karlsson, I'll say it again, I think his season is done. I mean,
wouldn't make a difference.
Maybe he's played his last game as a VGK.
Yeah, he would not make a difference. I'm sorry.
Well, not this version of William Karlsson. A healthy William Karlsson would help. You have to acknowledge that. I know you hate it, Tony, but so the topic, contender or pretender. Okay. FanDuel plus 950. The Golden Knights are the 4th betting favorite for the Stanley Cup.
That's overrated, overpriced. Go ahead.
But that gets some attention. It's based on the money coming in, so there are people that still do
from
believe
Las Vegas. It's all the Las Vegas people.
I don't know about that. Vegas betting market, I think, is relatively small compared to a lot of other, as far as the money coming in for Vegas, not Vegas, right, small betting market. I shouldn't say it like that. Colorado, Tampa, Carolina, 1, 2, and 3, respectfully. So we'll start there now with a .881 save percentage. That immediately says pretender. The lack of center depth immediately says pretender. Mitch Marner and Riley Smith filling as centers screams pretender. I don't know what Riley Smith's face-off percentage is. I know Mitch Marner's was somewhere in the poorest 30s, and Jack Eichel's is right down there too in the mid 40s, I think now, or upper 40s maybe. So you look at all this in a blender right now. They're pretenders at the moment, but this team is not built to be this regular season powerhouse. You don't have all these aging veterans on the team like Brandon Saad and Riley Smith and all of those players, and even a Braden McNabb who's aging right now, and expect this team to rattle off 118 points and compete for the best record in the league. They're looking to win a weak division, although we'll hear from Edmonton as time goes on. You mentioned what Anaheim's doing. San Jose's buying players right now, so they're going to be around as well.
The Kraken are hanging around. Yeah, the Kraken just hanging around there.
Kraken always hang around. It's what they do. So the Golden Knights are hoping to get top 2 in the division, and then they'll see what happens. They're going to look to catch lightning in a bottle come playoff time, very similar to what Adin Hill did in the 22-23 playoff run, where he wasn't even the team's third best goalie going into the playoffs.
The Golden Knights, I'm not certain if they are a contender or pretender. Ask me this question again after the Olympic break. Again, it's a tougher road to hoe there for this team, starting with 5 games on the road. I think we might be able to tell better if this team can compete, because it's been a roller coaster ride for the Golden Knights so far this season. And just when you think they're in the flow, we talked about that, again, maybe overhyped and whatever, the big, 7-game win streak where they were beating up a lot of teams. They didn't play the Central Division during that win streak, did they? Any of those
Predators, maybe?
Perhaps, yeah.
Maybe the Preds at the tail, that 7-2 game, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. But, is this a contender?
It wasn't Colorado and Dallas is what you're trying to say.
Nor was it Minnesota now playing much better.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I know we're up against them watching the clock, but
that's
as of January 26th and every moment leading up to January 26th, based on basically besides a few times when this team was healthy, which was next to none, we're talking about a pretender that's hoping to limp into the playoffs and catch lightning in a bottle. They might. They absolutely might, and they absolutely can. But it's going to take a lot of things to break spectacularly well. There's a positive. We have not seen the best version of this Golden Knights team yet.
Coming up on tomorrow's show, we'll talk about VGK preview. The schizophrenic Golden Knights playing again in Montreal. Is that a good way to term it? Thank you for making Locked On Golden Knights your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports network. Join our Locked On Golden Knights community today. LockedOnPodcast.com/everydayer. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights.